Welcome everyone to the members meeting. All right.
I'm Hoyt Bacon. Was invited by Dr. B.
Well, welcome.
Good to
All
be
right.
here.
So it sounds like you're gonna do a little presentation or talk with us and such. So let's go ahead and get this meeting called to order. And so we'll go ahead and call the meeting order. It's 1:04, the 21st of December. So let's go ahead. Minutes from previous meeting, which we had our annual meeting in Chicago. And so there, I know we had an election of officers. And so Ron, he was to remain the treasurer. Tiffany was elected vice president. And Brandy is our secretary. And the president is myself. I don't know how else to say that, but so congratulations to all the officers for U.N.I.T.E. Is there?
I would make a motion that the minutes be approved as sent out by Brandy.
All right. So Ron makes a motion for the minutes to be approved. Is there a second?
Second.
Jared. All right.
I think that's Travis.
Oh, Travis.
Okay,
I'm sorry. I'm
okay,
sorry.
another minute gone. Another minute gone. It's fine. Okay.
All right. So everyone, in approval, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. So we're going to pass that motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting. So we're gonna go right into our next agenda item, and that's old business. Does anyone have any old business?
You know, I would move that Amanda from Leading Age give us her report.
Trying to figure out how to to come off mute. Well, great to be with you all today, and it was really lovely to be with some of you in Chicago. It's hard to believe that it's already been almost 2 months since we were there, but alas, here we are, almost in 2024. Just not a ton to update from the Leading Age front. One thing I do want to mention is that we are early in the new year, and this is something that maybe you all will participate in, and I hope that you will, is we are launching a new set of what we're calling peer groups, and they are email-based listservs, so our members can connect with one another at any point in time. We recognize that one of the kind of hallmarks of Leading Age memberships and being a part of Leading Age really is the ability to connect with other provider members across the country and to share ideas and challenges, opportunities, what have you, with one another. And that's a really big part of why people join Leading Age. So we are going to be introducing a new suite of peer groups starting probably about mid-January, and they're going to include several different topic areas versus provider areas. We have a suite of networks that are provider focused. We have nursing homes and life plan communities and home health and home care, affordable housing, etc., all based on the provider setting where you work. So really looking at those challenges. So those are still going to remain. And then we're launching these peer groups, which are just online conversations about the topics that might interest our members, such as big one, workforce. HR related issues, rural providers, which might resonate with a lot of our U.N.I.T.E folks, as well. Philanthropy, another big one. Next gen, which is our next generation of professionals. So really trying to encourage new folks to come into the field. So those will be launching in January, and I am working very hard to make sure that our timeline stays to mid-January. It's hard at the end of the year, but we're excited about it. So I'll let you all know more as those launch, and I'm really hoping that you take part in that. Other than that, I think we're wrapping up the new year at Leading Age, and I know that my colleague Jody is on the call, and I would love to invite her to give an update on what's going on in the nursing home world.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to see you in Chicago. I was there, but I was actually manning the regulatory action table the whole time. You guys probably know that the staffing standards proposed rule closed while we were in Chicago. And so we had 2 days where we were running a table to get folks to comment on the rule. And then we had the next 2 days where we were trying to get advocacy on a bill in Congress that at the time was only in the House, but since then a Senate companion bill has been introduced that would stop the staffing standards from being implemented. And so through the advocacy in Chicago, just in the 2 days that we were doing the regulatory advocacy, we had a couple hundred people take action, which was really exciting. And then we had a few hundred folks taking action on the congressional work as well. So we were really excited. So I was sorry I couldn't see you, but we were getting a lot of really great work done in the meantime. So what happens now, you guys are probably aware, is CMS is going through all of the 46,000 comments that they received on the regulation, and they will be evaluating those comments and potentially making changes or whatever they're going to do about that proposed staffing standards rule. Any response would come out through a final rule or through some other type of regulatory action. CMS does have up to 3 years after a rule is proposed to take some type of action, but that some type of action could be filing for an extension, filing for a new comment period. So we really don't know. We don't know what's next. We just know that the ball's in CMS's court at this point, but we continue to do advocacy on the congressional side on those two bills, the House and the Senate bill. Also, you may have heard on a SNF Open Door Forum on December 7th, CMS announced that they are piloting some new strategies for surveys, and they didn't really share any information during the call. They said that they are looking at ways to streamline the survey process to be more efficient, that they are looking at ways to kind of reallocate survey resources away from the lower risk nursing homes toward more higher risk nursing homes as they're trying to get through this backlog of survey. We don't know what risk factors they're looking at. We don't know how they are making that shift. They said that as they do this testing over the next couple of months, you could see some changes in the survey process. If you have a survey on site, you may also see more surveyors than you are accustomed to seeing. But other than that, they're not talking. We reached out to them and said, hey, is there any information you can share with the associations? And they said, nope, more to come in 2024. So we at least said, we understand because CMS is very close hold on a lot of things, but let us work with you, right? Let the associations work with you. Let us review how things are going, keep us updated on the progress. We can provide feedback, and we'd like to at least be a part of this process prior to any policy changes. And I do think that we will see some type of coordination there. It may just be that they send us a memo or some proposed changes and say, hey, can we get your feedback? And at that point, they've already decided what they're going to do, but they're just, double checking. But even that is useful, right? Because we've participated in that many times, and CMS does heed the comments that we provide and the feedback we provide. So it would be great if we had more ground level collaboration, but even if we can just get that, we'll be pretty excited. Simultaneously, Leading Age had decided, before we even knew about this, that we were going to be addressing survey issues in 2024 as well. We are working on our work plan right now. So I encourage you all to reach out to me. Information that I'm looking for right now is like, what is the survey like in your state? What are your main concerns with the survey process? What would you like to see different? And is there anything in your state that's working really well? Like, so an example is we know that one state actually has an online forum where you as a provider can go online and complete a survey after your nursing home survey to evaluate the survey process and the surveyors in your building. We think that's a pretty great thing, a great way to provide feedback, and the state agency then reviews it. Another thing that we're really looking at is which state agencies are having regular calls, either with the Leading Age Association or with actual providers in the state on like a monthly basis to kind of talk about trends and patterns and identify any issues. So any feedback, please shoot me an email. We are still developing our plan, and all feedback is good feedback. Even if you're writing me to say like, this is never going to work and nothing's ever going to change, like I'd still like to hear that. So thank you.
Oh, that's great information, Jody. Thank you so much for that. And yes, survey window is upon us. For some of us, our window here opens January 1st. So we've been all preparation and everything, getting ready. So, I mean, we're ready anyway all year, but, it's just.
Yeah. And there's a good choice. There's a good chance then that they might pilot some of these different strategies in one of your homes. So I'd be excited to hear that.
Yeah.
Anything you see that's different, let me know.
Will do. All right. So we'll move along to KAI report.
Sure. So I'll keep my update very short. We're already promoting the January 24th LTSS webinar. Topic is robotics and aging. It's really exciting topic. That'll be at the normal time, which I believe is well, I won't recite all the time zones, but I think it's at 11 a.m. Pacific, and you can do the math from there. Take a look at the U.N.I.T.E newsletter and the LTSS newsletter that just came out this week. And the details will be in the next couple of newsletters for January as well. So I think that's my update. If you have ideas for the January U.N.I.T.E newsletter, if you could send them my way or send them Ina's way, and Ina, you can forward them to me. I'm looking to get those things in my inbox by the end of next week, so I can come back in early January and start working on your newsletter. So thank you.
Thank you, Christina. All right, so we have an invited guest today. Mr. I am so sorry if I don't say your name right. Hoyt?
Hoyt, yeah, Hoyt.
All right. So the floor is yours. Welcome.
Well, I don't have anything prepared. My understanding was just an opportunity, really, I think, to meet you, wasn't it, Ron?
Yeah, I think so, Hoyt.
Yeah, and then just be introduced to your group and learn more about what you all are doing. I had reached out to Dr. B after meeting him some months ago and talking about many different projects potentially in Oklahoma. I'd reached out recently to find out more about what he and the groups that he's involved with are doing with regard to elder care from the perspective of an assisted living, maybe as a starting point for Seneca Cayuga Nation. I sit on council for our small tribe in northeastern Oklahoma. And that's something that, of course, I'm certainly speaking to the choir with regard to need in that space. And then as we get ourselves educated and hopefully have an offering there for our elders, whether it's an actual assisted living environment or building or a group of homes or what that might end up looking like. We are building now on the other end of the spectrum a $6 million child care development center. And we intend to have an elder component to that to link our elders with our youth, to storytell and spend quality time together with our youth. And what I hope is going to develop is an elder assisted living residence adjacent to that, so that we can bring elders close on a full-time basis and develop a community there, around outdoor activities and again, storytelling, time outside, just making those connections. So I think it was Dr. B's intent to get me connected to like-minded folks, and over time learn more about what you all do. And then I see our journey for Seneca Cayuga Nation as a progression and this is just me, one council person, with a starting point of child care development, elder care from an assisted living perspective, and then obviously progressing that forward through the stages of from assisted living to full nursing home facility.
So Hoyt, for context, just to give you some context, the folks from Leading Age, Amanda and Jody, that just gave a presentation, Leading Age is a national nursing home association, and they have chapters in every state, and then there'll be a state chapter. And then U.N.I.T.E partnered with a Leading Age a few years ago, and Leading Age kind of took us under their wing and has been very helpful to us because we have a similar mission. And so Jody and Amanda come to our monthly meetings and give us an update. And then Christina is with KAI. They are a contractor, and they contract with CMS to help us, U.N.I.T.E, with setting our times, doing the Zooms and things like that. So they're a contractor, but they're very, very supportive of U.N.I.T E. And to give you a little context about those two folks. You say you're in the northeast corner of Oklahoma. So are the Modoc folks in your neighborhood?
Yeah, we've got 9 tribes in northeastern Oklahoma. The Modocs most certainly are one of them.
Yeah, we did some work with those folks here a few years ago. And at that time, the chairman's grandson was an attorney for the tribe, and then something happened. But he was actually going to work on trying to get the 9 tribes to work together on having a nursing home. And
I think that's certainly still a possibility, and that may be the way we should be looking. The tribes in Oklahoma are coming together in a way that we never have, and we have a unifier, the great unifier. Our governor is substantially opposed to tribal sovereignty and has launched multiple attacks against sovereignty, and there's nothing that unites tribes like a common enemy. So we were working on a joint justice system in northeastern Oklahoma and joint economic development projects. So this is something that I could certainly take to we have a 9 tribes intertribal council in northeastern Oklahoma, and that would be the group that you're probably referencing to talk about doing something together like that. So that might be their approach. And other than that, I'm happy to just be a fly on the wall and learn. I've got about a dozen acronyms I've written down already to look up and figure out what those are. And I appreciate all of your efforts, to help our elders, and the work that you guys do is certainly appreciated by me and very meaningful. So thank you.
Well, we appreciate you coming along board, and we invite you to become a member. We'll send you some information on it, and $50 a year is the membership, and then you're entitled to get on and just be a part of it. And you'll find out you can be a part of U.N.I.T.E very easily. That's all I have, Ina.
All right, thank you, Mayet, for that background that you shared with us here, and we look forward to you becoming a member, and then with the other tribes that you stated. So very exciting stuff moving forward.
Thank you, Anna.
You're welcome. All right, so let's see, Ron, anything for LTSS update?
No, they haven't had anything going for a little while. We did have that meeting, I think it was back in November, and I don't know if any of you joined it, but it was a 2-day deal that they had in Washington, D.C. And, I was able to listen to it, and I think Dr. B joined too for a while. But there isn't anything to report out of there.
All right, so moving into the new business, we do have listed there the membership fees, website, member businesses, outreach to tribes and tribal consultations. I know for some of the new business moving forward at our annual meeting, we talked about committees and forming those for some of the new businesses that we have there. So I think if we would make a motion to change the agenda to get those moved for committees, Ron, would you say that would be the way to go?
Yeah, I think we discussed it at the annual meeting that it would be good if we could get our committees kind of excited and getting something done in 2024. It'd probably be a good plan. And so I think we talked about our membership fees, that we'd keep them the way that they have been. $1,000 for the facilities, $500 for the tribes, $50 for individuals. And the board just approved a new membership class, business members, at $250 a year. And so that was one that the board just approved.
Yeah. So I think amending the agenda to have a new business with that committees on there. So like the website was one committee to have on there. The member businesses would be a committee. Outreach would be a committee. Seeing tribal consultation, I don't actually see if we talked about that one, to see if that's something that we want to form a committee.
We could almost roll that one into the outreach to tribes. I would suggest, Ina, that you could request members or board members to get back to you with an interest on which committee they might be willing to serve on, and if any of them have a willingness to be the chairperson of one of those committees.
I concur, yes. Just as Ron stated, to see if anyone's interested, yep, to reach out. And if any of those interest you and you'd like to help on those committees, just send an email, and we'll get those going. And so how that would probably look is just getting updates from one of the committee members there. So at the time being, is there any updates for the new business of those categories there?
I would say under the outreach, the board did have a discussion regarding, I believe it's called the Southern Plains Tribal Consortium, or I'd have to find the exact phrase. Maybe Hoyt knows it better, but
I think it's a Southern Plains Tribal Health Board. Nick Barton is the executive director there. They operate out of Oklahoma City.
Dr. B was suggesting that U.N.I.T.E make a presentation to the committee that decides who gets to come and make a presentation at their conference, which is going to be held, I think, April 23rd, 24th, 25th, something like that, at the Hard Rock Casino in some town in Oklahoma.
Tulsa.
Tulsa?
I just happen to be able to help here, Ron. I'm glad to be here today.
Okay. So for our outreach, the board decided that we should put a presentation together to give to Dr. B so he could give it to that committee to see if they would be willing to allow U.N.I.T.E to make a presentation at that conference. Now, that's just update for the membership.
Thank you, Ron. So yes, that sounds very exciting. And so to do and hopefully have the opportunity to do sounds like a great opportunity.
Just a quick update on the progress here with negotiations with the state of Arizona to modify the state plan to allow for the enhanced Medicaid rate for assisted living services. This group may or may not know, here in Arizona, we had a significant amount of Medicaid fraud that took place that targeted tribal members. And the state of Arizona has really ground to almost a halt when it comes to tribal Medicaid actions, whether it be what we're working on or any other items, and is really, I'm going to say, grasping at straws. And we mentioned the word sovereignty at one point here. I'm kindly and gently reminding the state of Arizona that they are a partner in this, not a overseer or supervisory role of this. They are a payment pass-through. We're in the process of requesting formal consultation with the Arizona Healthcare Cost Containment System, which oversees the state Medicaid program. We were successful, as this group knows, in obtaining the enhanced Medicaid rate for skilled nursing, and it's been a very, very important, especially through the public health emergency and coming out of it. And then, as mentioned to this board before, the delay in this payment had a material impact on the closure of the Hopi assisted living facility. And I know that they're looking at other options to resume some types of services for Hopi. But really, the delay in this and the reasons that the state are giving are non-material to what we're trying to get done. And so while trying to be patient when dealing with administrative bureaucracies and bureaucrats, I know I am, let's just say, frustrated. So I can just imagine how those that are impacted to the point where there are no services available, right? And we're still delivering services, both assisted living and obviously skilled nursing. However, it doesn't change the fact that this has now been a 3-year journey where there are dollars that are available that are made available by the federal government, and it's really a state agency that is not fully comprehending their role in this process. So I'll continue to update this board as we make progress. And also share, because the other reason that they gave is that they didn't want to be first, which also sounds ridiculous to me. And I'm glad Ron laughs at this, but I was just like, wow. They said they were, to quote their letter, they were under the impression that 4 other states had already done this, and they were looking for a model or an example, but because there was no model or example, they didn't know if they could be first, which I found to be ridiculous. So as we continue to move this work forward, I know each state has their own challenges, but right now in the state of Arizona, it's really become gridlock for a number of reasons, but that being the most recent and convenient excuse used by the state of Arizona. So thank you, Chair, and I'll answer any questions to that.
Thank you, Travis. Well, with that, let's set our next meeting, January 18th.
I'll just quickly say that Leading Age has 2 days of all staff togetherness on January 17th and 18th. So we will not be present, but we will send an email ahead of time with some updates for you.
Oh, that'd be great, Amanda.
Just a question. Our membership meeting, is it quarterly or is it monthly?
The membership meeting is quarterly, the board meeting is monthly.
Thank you, Jared, for that. I'm like, oh yeah, that is. So it'll be the 21st of March is what I'm looking at on the calendar. So March 21st would be our next quarterly member meeting of the new year. So with that, I want to go ahead and wish everyone happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and for all that you do. And we'll see you guys the new year.
Yes.
Getting in the holiday spirit there.
Yes.
All
Thank you,
right.
Always a pleasure to be with you.
Yes.
Good to meet you all.
Thank you.
Nice to meet
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for joining us.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you. See you guys.
Thank you. Happy holidays.